everybody, Trevor here, and welcome to another unboxing video. Now before we begin, I just want to wish my friend Dax Dibburn a happy 21st birthday today. And recently, he asked me to do an unboxing video on his birthday. And for today's unboxing, I'm going to review the Knapford Station passenger pickup set. Here's the front of the box. Here's one of the sides, which is pretty much blank with the logo. Yeah, I purchased this at my local Barnes & Noble, and it cost me around $96 and some cents. I'm not very good at remembering the cents part. I'm mostly good at remembering the dollars part. And here's the back, which shows all the components, which I'll get into later. Nice pictures. And here's the other side. It's pretty cool. All right. Now, I'm going to cut this video off here just so I can, take the toy out of the box and show you guys what's inside. Ta-da! Anyways, before we move on to this Knapford Station right here, I want to talk about the components first because I want to get those done and over with. First of all, this set includes 4 wood adapters, 2 males and 2 females, just like the Timma Shed set of 2022. And if you looked at my birthday unboxing video from last summer, then you'll know why I like these wood adapters, so I don't want to repeat myself. Alright, let's talk about the rolling stock next, including Annie and Clarabelle. Here's Annie. She has a really nice smile, just like the original series. Here's the side and the wheels and the bottom part, which is made of wood. Pretty cool. And here's the back. And here's the top part, which I'll get into more detail on later. And now let's look at Clarabelle. Ooh, I like that smile. Reminds me of the classic series. And here's the side and the wheels and the bottom part, which is also made of wood. And here's the back and the top part. And finally, we have the luggage car. For one thing, I do like the details because they look really nice. And the wheels are okay. They're fine. I do prefer the original wooden railway wheels, but these are good too. And the top part, this is where you put these play pieces on, like this. And you can put it on top of here if you want, or you could put it down here if you want. So yeah, let's move on to the play pieces. Let's look at every one of these. Okay, the first one I'm holding up shows a squirrel on top of one of these suitcases, which is pretty cute if you ask me. And on the other side, it shows 4 suitcases, which is pretty neat. And the second slide shows 2 bags, 2 suitcases, and 1 box, waiting to be picked up at night, possibly by Percy. And the other side shows 2 birds, a hat being blown away by the wind, and some bags and suitcases. Well, at least 1 bag and some suitcases and a box where this hat belongs, I'm assuming. Yeah, it's pretty cute too. And now the next one shows passengers, and I'm assuming that these are based on the people in All Engines Go. And I get they're trying to appeal to some of the All Engines Go fans, but at the same time, I would prefer their CGI counterparts because it makes them look more realistic. Anyway, here's the other side where they're waiting for their train. And there's a barn in the back for some reason. It's pretty out of place, but oh well, beggars can't be choosers. And here's the other one, and this one looks pretty cool. I do like that Percy and the luggage car are in the background. And I also like the puppy right here. It's pretty cute. Yeah. And on the other side shows them that they're inside the train at night. Yeah. And the last slide is the most interesting. This one shows the island of Sodor and the whole thing, even though it doesn't show the railway tracks, but it shows the different towns. Like this one, I think that's Vickerstown or something. I don't know, but yeah, and I know Timoth is on the left side, and so is Knapford, and Brendam Docks is down south. Yeah, if you want more detail on this map, I suggest you go on the Thomas Wikia. But the other side is even more interesting because it shows a classic Thomas illustration right here. Let's see if I can get it to focus. There we go. Yeah, it's a nice throwback to the classic Thomas era, in my opinion. And not to mention the Blue Mountain Quarry and a CGI Thomas promo artwork up on the upper left side right here. Sorry, I can't get this to focus, but this is the best slide in my opinion because it's such an Easter egg. Now let's move on to the switch pieces. And what I like about these switch pieces is that they have track on both sides, and we never got a track piece like this before, because if you look at other ones in the past, like the three-way parallel switch track, this reminds me of that, except it's got two sides on one side and one way on another side. It's kind of shaped like the letter P almost. And they go in here like this. Same thing for this. It's pretty awesome. And it's pretty neat too. And now let's move on to the red bumpers. These are designed to go onto here. Yeah, and basically it's mainly for this luggage car. You can also put it down here too if you want, but you can also put it up here if you want to as well, and you can put in one of these slides here. And not to mention, there are slide slots right here too. Like you can put this one right here and this one right here. It's pretty cool. Yeah, and you can also put track on here if you want to, like it's another way, but I'm not going to do that today because I don't have time. I want to get this done and over with. And last but not least, the Knapford station itself. And the reason this took so long for me to get out of the box is because I have to screw in 6 screws to get this rooftop piece in, which is pretty tedious if you ask me. And I prefer the old-fashioned way where you can just take the roof piece off like this and then take the engine out. That way you don't have to dig in like this in case your hands get stuck. I mean, sure, you can't really get your hands stuck in there, but you get my point. It makes it easier for kids to get the toy out of the station, you know? Let's talk about how this Knapford station works. Basically, you push this device down like this, and you open the door, you put the slide in, and close the door, and you have to lift it up like this. It's pretty noisy, but oh well. And you place it right here for the luggage car to pick up, and then when you push it to the other side, it has this device right here. And you have to lift the lever to do this. Yeah, it's pretty gimmicky, isn't it? Now, that's one thing I don't like about this set, is that the devices on either side of this station, it just makes it look gimmicky. While it is a huge improvement over the wood counterpart, which is really tiny compared to this, but if I had to pick one Knapford station that's considered the best, I would pick the 2011 version because it's a little more realistic, and that way you won't have to screw these bolts in. I don't see why the company couldn't just do this for us. That way the customer won't have to screw this in, you know? And then that way we can take this off and take the engine out easily, just like with the old Knapford station. Not to mention the railroad crossing arms, which remind me of the 2013 Knapford station, which was pretty bad, but nowhere near as bad as the wood counterpart from 2018. If they want something like this at Knapford station, why not copy the signal gantry from Signals Crossed? That way, it would look more like the show. Let's talk about the slides one more time. I understand why Mattel did this for modern playability and to appeal to more modern day kids, and that's all fine and good, but at the same time, I don't see why they couldn't just remake the stacked wooden human figures that Sir Topham had, the engineers, workmen, passengers, etc. You know, those things from the good old days of wooden railway. But that's just me, though. And one thing I forgot to mention earlier is that you put these slides into Annie and Clarabelle like this. Yeah, this is also pretty gimmicky. And that's another thing I don't like about this version of Annie and Clarabelle, is that when you put the slides in here, it just makes it look like a toaster. While it isn't as bad as the wood counterparts from 2018 and 2019, but at the same time, I do prefer the old wooden railway from the good old days of wooden railway because it makes them look more realistic and more convenient. But that's just me, though. Now let's move on to the interior of Knapford Station. And just like on top here, you can also see benches inside here, and this is where the passengers wait, like this. And there's no detail right here. I get it's for budget cuts, but at the same time, I would love to see more details inside this Knapford Station, like Sir Tom Hatt's office, for example, because after all, it is in the actual show. Another thing I forgot to mention earlier is like this Knapford Station right here, there's no clackety track sound on these switch pieces. I don't know why they decided not to do it. I mean, they added that feature on the other track pieces, so why not this as well? I mean, listen. There's no clackety track sound, which is pretty lazy in my opinion. Now let's move on to the outer details of this Knapford Station right here. First of all, there's Sir Topham Hatt, even though he has his All Engines Go counterpart, but oh well, as I said a million times before, beggars can't be choosers. And in my opinion, his redesign in All Engines Go isn't as insulting as most of the other characters like Thomas and Percy, because, you know, they look pretty ugly. But I still prefer his CGI counterpart, as well as his original voice by Keith Wickham, because it makes him sound more fatherly and more charming. There's a pretty little butterfly. And I believe that's a chipmunk on top of one of these gimmicky signs, which I believe goes to Henry's Forest. Oh, and I love this picture with the beagle playing tug of war with one of the passengers. And passenger's like, hey, that's mine. Yeah, that's pretty funny and pretty cute. Yeah. And there's another side, too, with an old lady. And the bottom part just shows bricks and items that passengers leave behind, like a guitar and a hat. And there's some bushes. On the other side, it also shows luggage and other things. Yeah. And on top shows bushes as well. And package. Yeah. Overall, do I recommend this playset? Well, that's kind of hard to say. I mean, it's got some things I like and things I don't like. I do like the outer details right here and this top part, which is pretty cool. And that it's an improvement over the wood version. But at the same time, it's got some things I don't like. Like I said about the slides and the arm crossings and the lack of clackety track features. And these two devices, which are pretty gimmicky. And not to mention the screw thing. I don't see why the company couldn't just do it for us instead of having the customer do it. I guess it's for packaging purposes only, or something like that. I'm not sure. So otherwise, this is a okay set. I would give it like a 6.5 out of 10 stars. It's not as bad as the wood version, but it's still not as good as the 2011 version, which I think is the best Knapford Station in my opinion. So anyways, This is Trevor Davis, signing off.